Hello, I'm just gonna make this a short video. Hopefully, it's gonna be a short one. It's more on just a reaction because it's been a while that I've been watching about the modern woman and, about traditional woman as well. So I've been watching a lot of that. But anyway, see the thing about I consider myself traditional woman. I'm a wife. I have a stepdaughter and stepson, and my husband and I we have a 6-year-old son. But anyway, so and originally I'm from the Philippines, and now I'm living in the U.S. But anyway, so for me, I consider myself a traditional woman. Um, I do everything in the house. I mean, I do the cleaning, the cooking, very hands-on with my son. I take him to school and I pick him up, and basically, literally, I do everything in the house. And then, um, with my husband, he goes to work. When he wake up, I prepared everything for him. Sometimes he don't take breakfast, sometimes he does. I ask him if he don't feel like, so I make sure he has a lunch at work. So I'm kind of pack everything together and his drink, and I put his in his truck, so he will just get up and get ready, and then he knows that his lunch is at the truck. So that's basically every day the same thing with my son. My stepdaughter, she's 18, she's gonna be 19, so she does his own thing. My stepson, he's 24, so he lives, he has his own place. So basically, the thing that I get things done is for my 6 years old son and my husband. But I maintain everything in the house. I clean, I cook, whatever is needed, do the laundry. I make sure I folded them as soon as I'm done with the laundry. So and yeah, and I make sure that before my husband comes home from work, I make sure the dinner will be ready. And then when he comes home, I serve it to him, and I do work. I work part-time. I'm a caregiver, home care. So I really make sure that the shift that I'll do is 6 to 2, when it's only twice a week. So just twice a week, a kind of job. And it's 6 to 2, 6 to 2, 6 o'clock in the morning. I will wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not that far from here. It's only like 10-12 minutes away from the house of my client. So I make sure, I'll be there on time, but I wake up really early so I can prepare for our son's uniform. He goes at a Christian school, so he's a first grade. So I prepared for his uniform, his a lunch, his drinks, and everything. I put it in his bag before I leave. I will put out his uniform, his clothes, everything. The same way with my husband. I put out everything for him. It's all laid down, it's all ready. All they need to do is just get up, get dressed, and good to go. So if I'm working, that's what I usually do. Before I leave, I make sure everything is all ready. So they're just gonna wake up, and then sometimes, well, not sometimes, actually, most of the time, when I'm not that big, when I get a minute from a client, like this is having breakfast or something, I will video call with my husband, to say, listen, it's morning now, it's time to get ready, or are you guys getting ready, or are you guys about to leave, because if obviously if I'm working, he'll be the one dropping off our son to school, or as a school bus, because sometimes he has a school bus, but sometimes he likes to be taken to the school, so we kind of do that too. So and then I remind, okay guys, get ready and things like that. And I will say to my son, oh, I'm sorry, mommy missed you this morning. The same way I say to my husband, I says, you know what guys, I feel so guilty, I'm not gonna be there, but I make sure everything are all ready for them. So basically they're just gonna carry them, put it in my husband's truck, and there, that's good to go. So that's what I do. And then when I come home, when after my shift, it is 2 o'clock, I pick up my son at this school, and then when I get home, things that I didn't do in the morning, like cleaning up in the bed, tidying up and everything like that, that's the time I make it up. And then I start making dinner, and then I'll make sure my son will get snack before dinner time, that he's got his homework done, and everything like that. Basically, that's what I do every day, and I love it. I enjoy it. I love serving it. Actually, I feel guilty if I'm not be able to do that for them. Like at one time, I rarely get sick. So, but one time it happened to me. I wasn't feeling too good. My husband says, that's fine. Go lay down and relax. While I was laying down and I'm not feeling too good, I feel so guilty. Because for me, I should be doing it. I grew up with that. My mom, don't get me wrong, my mom is a teacher. She has a bachelor's degree in teaching. So, she goes out of work, teaches, but she didn't start teaching until I was like 8 years old or 9 years old. So during those time, it's 5 of us. So the 3 of us, when we were the first 3, my mom didn't go to work. She was a housewife. So basically, she does everything, and then my dad. It's hard for him. He's struggling, but he tried. He tried to be a good provider, and things like that. But as we're growing older, growing up, and my mom and my parents want us to go to college. Obviously they need to make plan, and that's the time my mom says, hey, listen, I need to go to work, help out my dad, so we can all go to school and have a degree. So that's but even though my mom was a teacher, my dad was a taxi driver, at some point for few years my mom was the one making good money, and that was in the Philippines. My mom was the one make good, more money than my dad, but my mom never make my father feel that that I should be the one, the head of the family, because I'm the breadwinner, I'm the one making more money. She never done that. She always, every time there's a decision, or we're gonna ask my mom, even before she start working, and even when she was working, if we want something, if we need to go somewhere, we have to ask my father. If we ask my mom, my mom, we will say, mom, we're going this and this, we're gonna do that. My mom says, did you ask your father? We says, no, we're asking you. And she says, well, you gotta ask your dad, and see what he's gonna say, because at the end of the day, it's my father's decision. The last word was always being my father, and that's how we grew up. And sometimes it's better to ask just my father, but my father, he respect my mom. So if we ask my father that, blah blah blah, and then my dad says, did you ask your mom? Yeah, we did. And she says that, to ask you. And then my dad says, and what do you think she'll say? Like that. But at the end of the day, he's always the one making the final decision. So the same way with my marriage now, with my family, it's always my husband's decision. I I voice out my opinion, my suggestion, but I always let him make the last and the final words. So that's, and my son seeing that, and no matter how I was tired, I get up and do the household chores, because it's my responsibility. My husband is a good provider, so in return I have to be a good housekeeper, making sure that everything is working fine, so he don't need to worry things in the house when he has enough things to worry for his job. So yeah. And about being the traditional woman is see, the thing about modern women, they look down or they belittle traditional woman. They think because we're not as good as them, or we're not that smart, but that you're wrong. Traditional woman is actually smart. We know what we want. We want family. We want happy family, happy marriage. So we know what to do to make that work and to have that. And me personally, I'm a nurse by profession. I'm a bachelor's nursing degree, and I work in the UK. Um, when I graduated in the Philippines. I worked there for almost 2 years. Then I moved to UK, to London, Scotland, and I worked there as a nurse for a few years. So you see, it's not because I'm not capable of doing other things. I am. I'm well traveled when I was in the UK. But see, when I was in the UK, I didn't really date. I work home because obviously I don't want to end up dating and sleeping. That's not who I am. I don't want body counts. I don't see myself doing such thing. No. So, I consider myself, my body as, I'm a Christian too. So I value myself, I value my body, and my father always says, for people to respect you, you have to respect yourself. And that's, I always believe. And I may not be pretty, I may not be that, that I may not have that look, but way back, even until before I met even until I met my husband, I always have suitors. I consider them suitors because I never date. I didn't really. When I was in the UK, there was this, there was someone that I actually go out with, but we just have dinner and became friends. But that's it. So, and I always have suitors. And then I did try online dating. Actually, I met my husband and a dating a site, and it's a Christian mingle. That's where we met. And I met a couple of people as well on that site. And one is a lawyer and one is a businessman. And we had dinner and things like that, and I feel there's no connection. I pray for it, and I don't, and I stopped communicating with them. They kind of pursue it, but it's not like with the same with my husband. When actually with my husband, I know I'm kind of jumping because I'm not really good with narration like this, but with my husband, his family owns a hardware. It's Ace Hardware here in our area, and they had it for before even he was born. But anyway, when we were talking, he was telling me about that. Oh, they have a family business, and he has a small airplane, ultralight airplane, and this and this and that. I was actually turned off. I was actually like, what the heck? Why he's telling me this? I want to know, what he wants in life, how he sees, his character, his personality. I'm not a focusing on what he's got. So when he start talking about all those things, I actually stop, kind of talking to him. And then he says, no, I really like you. He went, at the time I was in Chicago. I moved to Chicago from UK, and I was in Chicago for a year when I met my husband. And he says, no, I'm going there. I really like you, he says. Because I was to all the people I talk to and my suitors, I'm really upfront. I always tell them this, that this is what I'm looking for. I'm not just looking for a date. I'm looking for someone that eventually for a serious, and this is, preferably I want to take care of the family. I don't mind giving up my job, my career, to make sure that, the house is organized, is tidy and clean. There's a food, warm food, homemade cooked food to serve. And I love doing that. I don't, my career, it's, I can just give it up easily, not a problem, because that's what I want. I want submission. I'm a traditional. If I'm gonna get married, I want to focus and prioritize my family, and I always upfront with that. And I thought at first, I was always kind of worried to say that, to express that, to to the guy, because I feel that, you know, maybe that's not what they're looking for. They're probably looking for someone who is modern, who is like independent, who is, you know, has a really big self-confidence and things like that. So every time I say that, I was on my mind like, you know what, this is probably, you know, gonna turn them off. But fortunately, it's not. Most of the all of the guy that I say, you know, what I want and things like that, they pursue me. But as I said, I don't want to just end up like dating them. I prayed every time, you know, I talked to somebody, and I prayed and asked that, you know, God guide me that they should be the one I'm gonna meet, you know, something like that. But anyway, yeah, you know, it doesn't mean that traditional is because that's all you can do. You're don't, for those, for it's probably not much, but those traditional women, don't feel bad about yourself. You know, we just know what we want. And for the modern woman, that's fine. If that's what you want, if you're happy, if that works with you, absolutely, just, you know, go ahead, you know, but never belittle traditional woman. Yeah, you know. So I'm just happy, you know, making sure that my family are all well taken care of, and I'm really blessed that my husband is a good provider. And besides, I'm not, you know, I don't need expensive stuff. I don't even wear makeup. um the only time I wear makeup is I'm going to attend a wedding, which is years ago. The makeup that I can wear is lipstick, and which is I don't even usually wear lipstick. Sometimes I do because my friends does, and not just because my friends does, because, you know, when I feel like it. But a lot of times when I go out, I don't wear lipstick. I just like this wash in my face, just wash and wear. I just wash my face, put my moisturizer. That's pretty much it. You know, I'm not comfortable with all makeups on. This is really who I am, you know. And I consider myself smart. You know, I'm educated. um as it says, I'm a well traveled. When I live in the UK for a few years, I traveled in Europe, and I consider myself confident. I have a confident, you know. But this is what I want. I love doing this. I love knowing that when my husband comes home, you know, I serve the food that, you know, and every time he eats and says, honey, did you like it? And says, oh yeah, it's a joy. It's a joy for me to see my family happy after me doing all the things for them. And that's what I want, you know. And if my husband say we'll go this way, we'll go, I'll be happy to do it because I trust him. You know, I don't question his authority. Yeah. So yeah. And my son knows that. My son sees that too. And he starts saying that when he get old and he's get married, he wants a woman who will take care of him and his kids, because that's what he's seeing, you know. So I'm probably gonna start more videos like this. But yeah, I'm sorry for, you know, I'm kind of jumping from there and then it's not clear. Probably it's not clear for you guys. And this is actually my first video about this, because I've been watching a lot and I've been wanting to make a video about it. And it's only now that I just kind of like, hey, listen, let's sit down, because I'm doing my laundry. I'm folding my laundry. And I just say, come on, you know, let's do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, my previous videos, vlogs are speak my local language. I mean, my native language, Filipino, because I'm from the Philippines. And one more thing, you probably think, oh, because you're a Filipino. That's true. But I've been living abroad for 20 plus years, and it never changed me. I was never westernized. I stay I stay the same. I stay traditional. You know, don't get me wrong, I mingle, you know, I have a colleague, you know, from different walks of life, but I never change. I am the same 20 plus years ago when I left Philippines. And I don't think I ever gonna change. This is who I am. I was born traditional, and I'm probably gonna die, most probably gonna die a traditional woman. So yeah, there you go. Hope to see you again later.